Item number 4 is adopting a position supporting Senate Bill 2118 related to the composition and authority of the Dallas Rapid Area Transit Authority Board, DART. This is something that we kind of talked about earlier today a little bit, but we've been trying to figure out how best we can be represented and receive our fair share of the dollars from the DART board. And one of the challenges that I feel, and several other mayors have felt the same, is that while we understand that it's an organization that you really can't change the makeup of it as far as the dollars given, because it's based on sales tax, but one city, because of the fact that it's a larger city, has always had a majority of the votes on the board. So it's unfortunate for other cities that want to talk about things. Prime example was that not all of us have a full-time representative on the board. So most recently, as we've talked about the money being given back and things of that nature, and the service that was needed, you have one individual who may serve 4 cities. 2 of the cities may not want to do that, but 2 of them may want to do that. Depending upon that representative, if he agrees that he wants to do something, then those 2 are represented. If he agrees he doesn't want to do something, then the others are. So those individuals then are not really representative of their position. The challenge has always been that they look at the dollars and cents versus the actual commitment. To me, I look at it from the commitment perspective. Everybody gives 1/2 of what they make. It doesn't make any difference if you put $500 million in or you put $50 million in through your tax. You're giving up that same 0.5 percentage. So, and those dollars, we can argue, well, they're dollars that come from the region. That's one of the arguments that they make, and it's really, well, the sales tax dollars that we collect also come from the region, but we still have the ability to spend them within our area. So this is something we've been trying to work through. This is a resolution that Senator Parker has brought forward, where each city would have a full representation, and that the Dallas city would have actually 3 votes of that representative, or if they chose, they could have 3 representatives. But it would then be a situation where there wouldn't be controlled by one city. To put it in perspective, that one city, yes, they do put in 50%, but they get 75% of the return, ridership and equipment in the area. And it also kind of plays into the E&Y, which was a study done on proportionality, and it basically was not really looked at on what you had in your city for ridership, but based upon how much iron was on the ground. So they counted the TRE. Well, this city was founded almost 121 years ago. We're almost 121 years old, and that railroad was there when this city was founded. So I think us having to pay for it is probably, or the use of it is kind of interesting to me that was charged to us as one of the things that we were responsible for with the TRE running along that line. But these are the challenges that we're facing, and we're trying to, we've tried to work these things out locally, internally. We have the ability as a board to change the makeup of the board. They have not seen that they would like to do that, number one. The other thing, that other amendment that's before us is a 25% reduction in the dollars and how that could come back to us. That really plays into the legislation that created DART, and the reason 25% was chosen was because the legislation allows for the DART board to reduce the percentages, but only in 25% increments. So that's why that number was picked. There's been a lot of back and forth, well, we can only do 5% or 10%, but the number was picked because of the legislation, which takes us to, and I apologize for taking your time, the long drawn out process of we really need to fix this at a legislative session, because we were created by the legislature as an entity, and the only way to really change the entity is through the legislature. And so this bill would be one where we would be in support of Senator Parker's bill to have a representative from every city, as well as Dallas having a few more, so that they had a percentage but not control. As it sits today, they control by one the board in any given situation. So that's just kind of what it. John?
Thank you, Mayor. So the last time we had a vote on DART, a number of residents asked that we pull it out of the consent agenda. I would like to make that request at this time. I think, given our resident survey, this is one of the more important services to our residents, whether they're for it or against it. And so I think having it on its own vote, I think it'll be the same vote breakup as
Sure.
or breakdown in terms of who votes for what as the consent agenda. But I think, given how important this is to our residents, we owe it to them to have this out of the consent agenda.
Yeah, we can pull it off the consent agenda because I think, John, you make a good point. As we go through this process, there are those that are dependent riders, and that is what we're trying to take care of, is the dependent riders. But we have lost routes in our city. We have people that are not being serviced properly. People, unfortunately, it's like a lot of things, they get scared. They're assuming we're going to pull out a DART, and they're not going to have a way to move forward with this. Well, as we've already discussed in other meetings, this wouldn't be something that would be done overnight. It would take a vote of the citizens. It would have to be a vote called, number one. Number two, we would have to have something in place, which is why we have had staff looking at VIA as to how they could move people internally within our city as well. So I think your point is well taken. If we can get ahead of it and explain it in those terms rather than, you're going to lose all your ridership if we get out of DART, if we really can explain that we really, in some ways, if we could just get the $5 or $10 million that we needed back to provide the internal service that we could provide from VIA, even though we would still be giving up our full penny, at least then our residents would have the ability to utilize the service. So I think there's a lot of pieces. So John, I appreciate that. I think we should do that. Any other questions, comments? Thank you.